Yeah, it's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Off the speakers can't even handle me. Even what I got, nobody's gonna drain my energy. And I will never stop, I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And no, I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than work some odd job just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy, I'm getting it. Forgotten souls, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your ball. I got squat, I fall, I'm not bought, I'm sold. My stock rocks, it's gold. Hey, knock, knock, me home. It's shit, talk to close. I ain't stopping though, it's hip-hop, you know. Or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping down, no, my pocket's grown. You can't stop the show, so get rockin' on. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't gonna make it back. Yeah. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down cause we're blowing up now. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down cause we're blowing up. Words like a weapon, attack with no questions. In my own section and they still disconnected cause their mind's been infected and they're filled with objection. Too filled for recollection so we're losing all attention. They don't know I'm in contention cause I'm gaining their attention. Cause I'm making a connection. Lyricism and aggression got me feeling my ascension. In my passion, my profession, I'm attacking my obsession. Taking action and progressing. I go off on the enemy, that's what makes them scared of me. Make my plans carefully, then execute them daringly. They say I act recklessly, but that's why I'm effective. See, you can't predict my tendencies, I offer no transparency. Some people think I'm lost, others think I'll be a legend. I'm never gonna stop till I'm one above second. And my thoughts at the top, but my mind stay present. Don't let your dreams stop, cause dreaming is a blessing. They tell me all the same, told me I won't make a name. But it's not about the fame, it's about keeping me sane. So I stay within my lane, feel my blood pump through my veins. Feel adrenaline, no pain, welcome all to my domain. Yeah. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never giving up. Taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you.
Hey, beautiful people.
Hey.
Are we all? Beautiful Kaz, how are you? And I've got beautiful MacJay on panel with me. The channel. So today's part 2 to what the other day on Savannah. But I have been working on a timeline that we're going to go through, so we'll go back over the start a little bit. But I've got it all mainly the facts. So, and then when we get towards the end, we can go the A of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to add this video. Hopefully it works okay. True Tam, how are you, my darling?
Oh, hey, Chillin.
So if you have anything to say, just jump in because you know me, I'll just dribble on otherwise. But I'll let it start and we'll just work our way through. So of course it's Savannah and Matthew, that cut off real short. So just going over the timeline as taken us back to Friday, December 23rd. Savannah Soto is last seen around 2 p.m. at her apartment complex where she and Matthew Garada, I think it is, everyone pronounces his last name different, so it's really hard to figure out exactly. You right?
Yeah.
MacJay, talk to me.
I'm here.
Okay. I just heard some. I'm like, oh, have you gone robotic on me? If you have problems, just jump down and I'll bring you straight back up.
Okay.
So Matthew lived in the 6,000 block of Grisman Road in Leon. Savannah was reported to be in a grey 2013 Kia Optima. The car was later identified as belonging to Matthew. Savannah was pregnant with her first child, and she planned to name the baby Fabian. Family members called Leon Valley Police to request that they visit Savannah's apartment to conduct a welfare check. Police said that they went to the apartment, but they saw no signs of a forced entry and determined that there were no grounds for concern at that time. As I said, this one's all facts, but we do also know she was due at the hospital at 6:30 in the morning. I think Mum waited about 2 hours. Obviously, they called around other hospitals and that, and when they couldn't find Savannah, that's when they alerted the police. We also know that Matthew's father did go to the house. The police haven't put it out as facts, but it's been told everywhere from Matthew's family that he actually knocked the door down and went inside. And I'm hearing two parts of the story on whether he removed stuff out of the house or not. So some people are saying yes, he did, and he removed drugs and money. Other people are saying he didn't. He just went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My question there too is, there was supposed to be a candle burning.
Oh,
That's
right.
me. How long was this candle burning?
Exactly. Especially with all those drugs around, man. Like all the bags. What if it tipped over and hit one of the plastic bags?
Yeah. Okay. So going to the next one. I'll probably repeat myself too. I done this last night while MacJay was at hospital, and I'm like, oh God, I was worried about you, and I was about being okay. And so Saturday, December 23rd, 2023, Savannah is supposed to check in 𝔱𝔦𝔪𝔢 Methodist Hospital at 6:30, so the doctors could induce labour. She does not show up and not answer the phone that evening. Savannah's Gloria posts a message to Facebook. All right. You're crackling. I don't know if you're trying to talk to me or.
Am I crackling? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was just crackling. I just didn't know if you were trying to talk. Savannah's mum, Gloria, posts a message to Facebook pleading everyone to find her daughter. If you see her, reach out to me. LNK, where you see her. I'm worried about her safety. Prayers for baby girl. I have some screenshots coming up, and I do got to thank MacJay, because what screenshots I didn't get, she got over these first couple of days, so I've put them in. But I really do thank you for grabbing all of these screenshots for me.
You're welcome.
You're grabbing them from everywhere. So this was Gloria's one. So the first one is just the whole screenshot. And then I've got the little bit there that shows us what was said. Basically what we just said then about her not showing up. And there was a little, our biggest thing has been the fights between the families, and you'll see that in some of these messages.
Oh boy, right from the start.
And they still are. They're still going. So Saturday till Monday, December 23rd to the 25th, Savannah's family members spent the weekend and Christmas Day searching the Gimpson Road apartment complex for signs of Savannah, and they also put up missing posters. That was around the area where they lived. Obviously there was a couple of videos that went out of people being around the area looking as well. But from basically Christmas Day, what was Boxing Day for us, this case just exploded, and 100 miles an hour. But that's one of the posters.
You know, normally these missing cases are like a week, 2 weeks, and then something happens, not like the next day.
Yeah. Like I literally messaged MacJay and I said, let's do this case together. And then it was the next morning, it did bang. And it wasn't high profile till the next day when we decided to do it, after we decided to do it.
Yeah, we didn't think it would end up this big, this fast. We were going to do it because it wasn't like, it was a relatively big case, but we didn't think it would get this big.
Yeah. And my thing was being like Savannah being pregnant, as far as she was, do you know what I mean? Later on, we find out that it happened at midnight, and that was like literally 7 hours, 6.5, 7 hours before she would have been giving birth to Fabian. And I think that's what pulled at my heartstrings the most, especially because I've just had a daughter that's just had a baby. So, do you mean I can only imagine how the mother was feeling at the time? So this is just another one of the missing posters that they were putting out. Now, I found this strange as well. Savannah was missing and they had her like missing posters for her, but no one until they actually found the bodies were many people talking about Matthew. What was being said was, do you mean about his violence towards Savannah, what we will get into, and we know that was part of their relationship. But there wasn't a lot of like missing posters for Matthew. When his family came out, it was a lot of defending, saying that Matthew wouldn't hurt Savannah. Do you know what I mean? They weren't really put as much into finding them as what Savannah's family. That's just how I took it anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, I took it the same as well. But my problem with is the what's that that thing with the time it supposedly happened? I guess we'll get to that later in the timeline. Never mind.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like 10 to. It's in the affidavit, but I think it was like 10 to midnight on the 21st. So that was, or the 22nd. That was the last day she was seen. We do know that day that she went missing, she did call her mum and told her mum to be ready at the hospital the very next morning because she was due to be induced at 6:30 in the morning. What to me is a very strange time to go in for an induction, but I don't know if it's different over in America than it is here. We like to sleep in, us Aussies. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hey, Matt.
So, can you see chat? Oh,
yeah, I can.
Okay. If you can't, I can highlight them. Okay. Just takes a couple of seconds to go to the next one. So this is again Matthew's family putting up it. Obviously, there was no lot. If anyone knows my son Matthew Garana, he and his pregnant girlfriend are missing. I know my son, he wouldn't do anything to hurt her. She is due to have baby. Her things were left behind that she packed for the hospital, including her purse. The neighbors said that they heard Savannah screaming for help, and the next morning they said they saw them get into a Cadillac. I'll come back to that Cadillac bit because that's a big question. My son's phone says that the caller is unavailable and their car is not at the apartment. As a mother, I know my son and his girlfriend were taken against their will because my son does what he does for money. He is not an abusive boyfriend. It's those who hate on others who don't need anyone that have something to do with my son and his girlfriend missing. Please help if anyone knows anything. Let me and his brothers know. Now, we do know, I know that she's probably saying he isn't abusive because it is her son and she wants to protect him, especially with everything coming out. but the Christmas beforehand, so what were we now, 23, so 22, he had hit Savannah so bad that Savannah was put into hospital. He was put on charges for that, but
Yeah. Right.
and his father asked him to keep him in, but it was Savannah that actually let him back near her and dropped the charges. And there was a lot of pictures going around. I've probably got some in here, but people were seeing bruises. But I mean, I don't know the bruise because I have a daughter that's low in iron and she bruises if you touch her. I mean, it's hard to say whether they were actually Matthew or not, but I think there was a lot of violence. But I just think they clashed. I mean, they obviously loved each other, but I just think they clashed. So, and the Cadillac. Isn't it funny at the start you hear about this Cadillac and then at the end it's just, it's a Kia Optima. But at the start everyone was looking for this Cadillac. It's only his parents that mentioned it. I don't know if you realised about this Cadillac that they were supposed to be in. Because a Kia Optima and Cadillac are completely different cars. Sorry, I've got a speed hump out the front of my house, so every car that goes down, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'll slow down for the speed hump, and that's all I can hear. So this one was someone else on Savannah's page, or Savannah's family. They were, when the mother put out her post, they put this out and they'd actually reshared Matthew's mother's post. And it bullshit, your son beat the F out of my little sister-in-law and always put hands on her while she was pregnant. We see marks over her when she came home with her face broken and her eyes shut. She would come around. Your son brought whatever happened to her and our nephew onto them, and for that we got talk our shit. His own brother said Matthew was abusive when he was texting my brother-in-law. So what? The neighbor home clearly gotten statements of them yelling, screaming to help last night. Obviously you didn't know your son, but we all know WDF he did to her. Out of here with the shit, because we let all of that out. Sorry, it's really small. I'm like, maybe I should put my glasses on.
That's it. That's about what it is anyway. At least from what I can make out.
So these were like a screenshot just showing what was happening in the first couple of days, because not only did you have this story of the missing, but there was so much fights with the families, and it was just like watching it all unfold.
And I hadn't blown
this
up.
Was
then.
just no, it was still, because they were still looking for the bodies at this time, and there was still a lot of question whether Matthew had something to Savannah or whether they were both in trouble. As we said, like Savannah's family were looking and put missing posters. Matthew's family was basically just trying to defend him. And another thing that came into play as well was that Matthew's parents are actually separated. I think they have been for quite a while, because Matthew's got a stepmom as well. So you had like Savannah's family fighting Matthew's family, and then Matthew's family fighting Matthew's family in as well. And then everyone else jumping in and giving their opinion on the case.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think were they fighting on TikTok too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you got the other girl with the dog camera.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember her name. It was funny too, when they arrested them, she was still putting out camera things, and it was like, stop.
Yeah, stop.
Mm-hmm. And now we've got the Carla family got the family from, I mean, the neighbours from the ones that done it, and now they're getting their little bit on.
Oh, yeah.
So these were just more screenshots about what was going on during the fights between the families, saying they had guys and covering it up with makeup. I could have posted so many, and I'm sure Jam feel the same. There was heaps of screenshots that we had. So Monday, December 25th. So this was Boxing Day for us because, as we know, we're in the future, and it'd be, do you know what I mean, hard on the families as well. But the Texas Department of Public Safety issued a coordinated law enforcement adult rescue. So it's called a clear alert. I thought I was so clever finding that out. But it was for Savannah, and it was saying she was now in immediate danger, and that was because of the pregnancy. As we said, she was 41 weeks going on to 42 weeks pregnant. She was due to have the baby induced, but if even at that stage you could go anytime, so that was where the danger came in as well. Some people were saying it was because of Matthew, but it wasn't. It was purely because of pregnancy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's a lot of things said that what is it with the mothers? There was two mothers on Facebook. Weren't they having a go at each other? Like Matthew's biological mother and his stepmother.
Yes, that's what I mean by you had Matt's family fighting each other, and they were. I know towards the end as well. Do you mean they had the biological put up a GoFundMe or a couple of GoFundMes for them? But the father was actually trying to do it by himself. By what we've researched as well, Matthew had primarily with his father, not the mother. So it was more the father and the stepmother that saw Matthew in that. So this was just the Leon Police Valley Department issuing the clear alert on Monday, December 25th, 2023 for a pregnant 18-year-old who is a week overdue and was scheduled to go into hospital. Basically what we've all said. Says here about the grey 2013 Kia Optima with a temporary Texas license plate. This is another thing that got everyone going. Now, Matthew had got his license plate put on the proper one days before this happened, but not everyone knew, so everyone was actually looking for the temporary license plate, what I'm assuming is just I wouldn't say paper, but a temporary one. What would have made it harder because, do you know what I mean, they didn't actually have the right license that we were looking for either. According to several sources, Matthew, I've obviously got that wrong. Matthew, her boyfriend, is also missing. Savannah's mother said her daughter was excited to become a mum and would never disappear like this. Anyone with information to call the Leon Valley. So I didn't miss it because that was straight off their page. That's how they've wrote it.
Oh yeah. The Leon Valley Department page.
One thing I do got to say though, the police go.
Oh, sorry. Did they end up taking that down, or can you still find it? Because I can't find it now.
I haven't looked. I think you sent me that one, but I haven't actually been over their page to see if it's still there. I know people are saying the video of the suspects in the car keeps disappearing too.
Really?
It's still on it's still on one of the pages that I went to, but apparently a lot of those videos, how there was heaps of different copies and going up where it gone in, but there's a lot of them disappearing off the pages as well. That's because we all keep asking questions on that third person.
Yeah.
So a family member was the first to discover the car on Tuesday afternoon and notified San Antonio police. The couple appears to have been passed away inside the car for 4 days, according to the police sheriff. Now, I do know that it was a dog walker around the apartment that had found the car. She said that she did see the car there for a couple of days, but it wasn't until the Tuesday when she notified the family because she could smell it. The smells from the car, and the dog went to the car. That's when she notified the families, and the families went down. And I think it was the families that called the police. I'm not 100% sure, but I know she did contact the family before contacting law enforcement.
Yeah, that was that on a Facebook post or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was on a Facebook post or if it was on like a news report. I got so many Facebook posts.
The bit about the walker was all in the Facebooks, but I think I'm a member about like 5 or 6 of them now, so I couldn't say exactly which one. Hey, Kaz.
Yeah. What was the one that was up first? Find Savannah. But it changed its name, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I can't remember, but they first had it. I think it has had a Savannah Soto discussion group or something like that, but they all changed their names in the last couple of days.
Yeah,
so Tuesday, December 26th, shortly after 4 p.m. Do I read this one? 2 people were found passed away in Matthew's Kia, which is parked at Collins Medical Apartments in 5900 block of Danny K Drive in northwest San Antonio, about 3 miles from where Savannah was last seen. Family members are heard sobbing as San Antonio Police Chief William McGarnis arrives at the scene and briefs them on the discovery. I do got to say, one of the biggest things was how long they were taking. Do you mean they told us that they found the car and we all knew by this stage that the bodies were in the car, but they were waiting forever for the medical examiners the MEs to get in there. And it was a long time to just be standing around basically like we're doing nothing. So
wasn't speaking of that, I believe, do you want to talk about the phones now or after? I'm later, I mean, because isn't this the footage where they say that they didn't find the phone? Or
Mum, the family said they weren't in the apartments. They weren't in the cars. They weren't in the car. But at the end of it, after they had the affidavit come out, they actually mentioned that they had found Savannah's phone, and that's what helped lead them to where the people were. So Savannah's phone was on them in the car. We do know that Matthew also had weapons, and they weren't in the car either. I don't know if they found any weapons at the house, but then again, it's catch-22. We don't know what Dad took out of the house either. So, do you know what I mean? Matthew's phone was apparently... I've heard stories where, obviously Mum was saying that it was just going to no caller, but there's also stories that his phone had been disconnected. I don't know if you've heard that, but I have. That it was disconnected a couple of days before it. Beautiful Tracy, how are you?
So you can see chat.
Hey.
You can see chat too. I didn't know whether to say hi to the people in chat.
Yeah.
Chat. or after?
Oh, if you
Or
couldn't see it, I was
with
going
the
to
child?
highlight them for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
I won't be able to later, though, when I go to the affidavit, because that's on a different tab. So, Police Chief William McManus tells reporters that although the bodies have not been positively identified, we believe they are those of Savannah and Matthew. He said the bodies may have been in the car for 3 or 4 days, and he said the police are investigating the case as a possible murder, and calls the crime scene very complex and very, very perplexing. I can't remember the actual word,
Yeah,
how
he
he
said
pronounced it.
very perplex. Was it
Perplexing.
Yeah, perplexing.
But he also
Yeah.
declined to elaborate. Later, we did find out it was because they didn't know if it was. Do you mean if Matthew had taken Savannah's and then taking his, or whether it was someone else? So because they didn't get in the car and because we're waiting for MEs, do you know what I mean? They didn't know to answer it. And another thing, and this really pulled on my heartstrings, was everyone was asking about the baby. We didn't know if she had had the baby. Things going around whether she'd had a coffin birth. And I even seen some posts and trigger warning on this one that they had, whoever had hurt them had taken the baby. Do you know what I mean? The groups were going wild for quite a few hours over that.
I
think that
remember
were the
some
3
posts.
stories. Hey?
I think that I've got screenshots of that. Yeah. They say they're taking the baby, or drug market or something. I don't know. Selling the baby. Yeah, that was it.
And I haven't put it in here, but do you mean there was also stories going around at the time whether it was a drug deal wrong, was something that me and MacJay had thought of, not only us thought of, like a lot of people had, but this was a line we were thinking of, that it was going along, because I don't have Matthew's Telegraph in here. I should have put some posts about that, but Matthew was selling all over his Telegram. He wasn't shy about what he was doing, and it wasn't just small, it was a lot, and he had quite a lot of photos of him with the cash. So
if you go back to Ozzy's previous live on this case, we showed some photos in the live of Matthew's Telegram, in case you haven't seen the drugs that Ozzy's talking about. Yeah.
But anything you can think if he had there. Like, do you mean it wasn't just small?
Yeah, true.
And and there was also talk whether Savannah knew about it, whether Matthew was going to be continuing it after Bub was born. Some of these we've got answers to now, but these were all the questions that were just going crazy in the groups at this time. So this one was from her sister. I know Grizzly Hood Crime News was also there, and she was posting a lot about it as well. But this is when they found her, and the first thing was that we found her. She's in a bad condition, and we found the car. So these ones were actually the sister doing it. This is before we'd actually found out they had passed away.
Yes, I always found that when I first saw this, it was before they announced that they're before the police, where they found the car and they filmed it live. Yeah. Well, no, I saw this just about an hour or so before, or half an hour, but before that. And so when I saw that Marina's post, I actually thought they might still be alive. And then, of course, unfortunately, we found out an hour or so later that they were passed away.
The way she wrote it, in a bad condition, I'm like, yes, but she's still. I was the same. Because we're just holding on hope, maybe. So this was her next one. And I do got to say, the strange thing was these were like in seconds. Like she must have been writing it as we found the car. She's in a bad condition. And then within a couple of minutes after it, she came up with, I am always just please let me and our family grieve. So do you mean it was, as MacJay said, there wasn't a lot of people actually confirming the condition. So there was a lot of speculation going around about that. But we sadly found out.
Didn't we just also find at that time that like until the next, actually, didn't it take like until recently we got confirmation that the baby was actually deceased? Like, I thought that was strange.
And it was because everyone was asking questions about Bub so much. Do you mean for them to hold off? Because even in the first press like the first press interview, he didn't say anything about Bub, even though everyone was asking. Thank you, Kaz, member for 2 months. Thank you, my darling. I think you've been a member in the other one longer though. There was also a lot of things going around at this time as well about on where they were positioned in the car. And there's a reason I put this one in, because we do know that Savannah was in the front seat and that she had the car seat on top of her. In this one, I think is the best photo where you can actually see the top of the car seat in the passenger's side. It's strange for us because our steering wheels are on the opposite side. So to me, that looks like it's on the driver's, but that's because ours are opposite. There was questions about whether one of them was in the trunk, but we do know that Matthew was in the back, again in a bad condition, and there was things going around. And this was his own family putting it out. I think it was his cousin on TikTok. Was going on about his pants being down, that he'd been tortured. Do you know what I mean? There was just...
Yeah, I remember that post, but I can't remember whether it was wasn't it a female cousin or sister-in-law who made that comment about
it was
torture?
Matthew's cousin. Yeah.
Matthew's cousin, yeah.
And the thing was, I was getting a lot of this from Facebook and what they now call X. But a lot of this was going down on Twitter as well. I mean, on TikTok as well. So,
see, I don't have TikTok, so
I think I need to start watching it a bit more.
Yeah.
So this is just another one when they actually started opening it up and that. Now, we do know that they found shell casings in the car, but there was no weapon in the car. So it's another thing to keep in mind as well.
If you can, hey, Ozzy, can you, from that car picture that was just up on screen, can you see from the top of the like on the front window screen, in that photo, can you see like the shattering from the bullet holes? I can't. I don't know,
see my pointer, but there's a mark right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's on the passenger side. You can see like a little white mark. Now, there are other photos I think I have where it looks like there is a bullet mark on the front windscreen. But other ones, do you mean it doesn't look like it? There's also talk whether some of the side windows were taken out. I don't know if they were or not, because they had that side covered pretty quick. But yeah, I thought there was a bullet in the front. I'll have to go through my other pictures to see if I've got a clearer one, if I've got one where I saw the front.
Well, because I've got I've seen it where it looks like the front windscreen has been shot. It's shot through, but I've heard people say the side windows had bullet holes, and I'm like, where's this? I haven't seen this before, so I'm just like, I don't know if
Yeah.
that is ever verified.
If the side ones had it, it would have been the side that they had covered up because, as you can see, we had clear view of the other windows. But yeah. And I suppose that's what comes into our questions now, because the evidence that we've got, car and with the condition of Matthew and Savannah and where they were, doesn't match the affidavit story that when we get to the affidavit of what happened either. So, and this is why I wanted to go back. Hang on, I think why am I going backwards? I'm going forwards. Yeah, so the car. There's a lot of hearsay in regards of how the body's found, how they passed, etc. Even family members have conflicting details. So basically, we're just taking everything as a grain of salt and waiting for what we could hear off law enforcement. Because as we were just talking, then there was so much different stories going around.
Still are in some regards.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first police. I wouldn't call it a press conference, but he was at the scene. This was his first announcement when he was announcing about Savannah and Matthew.
Be right back, bathroom.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody ready? Just 1 second. So what I'm about to tell you, excuse me, what I'm about to tell you is preliminary information and could change, quite possibly will change as detectives get further into the investigation. And what we're looking at right now, I think everybody knows the background on this, so I won't go into it. But what we're looking at right now is a very, very perplexing crime scene. And detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder, and but we don't know for sure. So again, because of the complexity, the complex crime scene, we can't say for sure what we have.
Okay, I think I've frozen up.
Did something happen? Hello? Did I miss?
Okay, are we back?
Oh,
I just lost
okay.
everything. No, my computer dropped out, and I'm like, oh my god. So I've just got to get this video back. I think because we're on school holidays, so everyone in my house is drawing internet at the moment. So
Well, Kaz was just saying his internet's I don't know if they're he or she, but their internet,
Savannah and Matthew,
can watch service has been awful since storms on Christmas. Really?
we had, it was really hot here 2 days ago, and we've had nothing but rain now for the last 2 days. So, but I've also, as I said, I've also got my grandkids home, so everyone's drawing net in the house because it's too hot outside. But we've had trouble with our phones as well. Even our personal phones, like Spirit Time has one of those flip phones, and Christmas Day, it all stopped working on. No, not Christmas Day. It was just after Christmas Day. It all stopped working on him, and he could, like, first his internet went out. Then we had his truth go out, and he woke up yesterday morning with nothing on his screen. So we had to go in and spend a few hours in our trying to fix it, and walked away with another new phone. So now he's got, I don't know, some other. I'm an Apple user, so.
You're an Apple user. I've got iPad.
Repeat that. It appears that.
I think this is where we're up to. I'm just trying to bring it back.
Valley, but there have been questions on why SAPD did not issue their own
Missing. And
I'm going to turn my camera on in case that helps save the
we don't know that yet. We have not been able to move the
thing.
box.
Is it a Kia Optima?
This is the car that was described as the boyfriend's.
Did the family call in about the car?
Yes. Family.
Notice how he
They
pauses
were
there for a bit.
alerted that the car was here, and they phoned it in.
He's very selective on what he does talk about.
I don't know exactly what time.
Yes, very much so.
You know how long they may have been here for?
We're thinking possibly for 3 or 4 days.
So who exactly on the car?
I don't know exactly who found it, but the parents were alerted by someone or the family was alerted by someone who came across the vehicle.
We know that the clear alert obviously went out in Leon Valley, but there have been questions on why SAPD did not issue their own alert. Alerted to any idea that this could be within your jurisdiction?
I believe we became aware of it, but this being originating in Leon Valley, that's why it came out from the alert, clear alert.
Was there ever any indication that SAPD should have put out a clear alert of their own?
No.
So are y'all leading this investigation?
He's the family in the background.
No, we are.
Yeah, you can.
If there's any information that Leon Valley has, our detectives will work with Leon Valley on that. But the case is an SAPD case right now.
What can you say to the Soto and the Guerra when you were here today?
What can I say to them? Exactly what I just told you.
Yes, sir.
What makes this complex that you said?
Pardon?
What makes this a complex?
I don't want to go into details about that, but again, I will repeat that it appears to be a very complex crime scene, very perplexing crime scene.
And who lives here?
One more question, guys. One more
Was
question.
the FBI ever involved in this investigation?
They're complex and perplex.
No, Not unless we reach out to them. No.
Chief, any of them live here, or why were they here? Do you know?
Any what?
Do you know why they were here?
No, I don't.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
y'all.
Yeah, he's definitely a man of very few words. He doesn't like to let out any more than what he has to. But what he said in that conference then is exactly what he told the families. There was another video going around where he was talking to the mother, Savannah's mother, it was, and I mean, it's just great. You could even hear them in the background crying.
Oh yeah,
But that was
broken for them, especially the mom, because she lost her 15-year-old son like not last year. Was it last year or the year? Yeah, last year. Yeah.
when you think about it, Savannah was in hospital. No, I think it was the year before, because he passed away. Savannah was in hospital last Christmas, or not the one that's just gone, but the Christmas before. And then I think it was like July, October, June, July or something, that they had the court case for the brother, when they had the person who had taken his life, and where they jumped over. So, and then come Christmas was when Savannah went missing. So it would have been a very hard 2 years for that family. And they're not over it now. They've still got such a long way to go.
They do.
Kaz, weather we had, as I said, not yesterday, the day before, our weather in Melbourne was, I think we got to like 35. It was horrible. It was disgustingly hot. We were moving a house around it, and it was just terrible. But today and yesterday, we've had nothing but rain. I know the Bureau said that it was going to be like 150 to 200 mils, but it has been nothing. I haven't seen Joe around though either. So Wednesday, December 27th, 2023, the San Antonio Department described the case as a capital murder case, and lists the three victims: 18-year-old Hispanic woman, a 22-year-old Hispanic man, and an unborn child, basically, as deceased. So that was when they actually started talking about baby Fabian as well.
Yes, that's sad, because I'm not sure if you saw it, but about 20 minutes before this live, I came across a photo on Facebook of the outfit they're planning to did you see that one? Bury Fabian in?
Seen that.
Yeah.
That's another question too, is where a lot of people have been asking whether Fabian's going to be buried with Savannah or whether he's going to have his own. Hinton's statements released Wednesday morning. SAPD, who's San Antonio Police Department, says that the man and woman found in the cars both suffered gunshot wounds. The medical examiner's officer will conduct an investigation, determine the cause of the death, and confirmed the victims' identities. This investigation remained open, and the statement said that the police officer no details as to motive of the passings or possible suspects at that time. As I said, we did know that it was Savannah and Matthew, but at that time we were still waiting for the confirmation from the medical examiners. And that's when we found out about the gunshot wound. So we do know that it was both of them to the right, like under their right ear. And Matthew's was, what do you call it? Complete contact. So it was like right on the skin. Wednesday night, SAPD issued an update saying that the medical examiner had possibly identified the 22-year-old Hispanic man as Matthew, and we were still waiting for positive identification for Savannah as well. And this is like a very watered down, Jimmy. There was so much going on around all of this. I've tried to keep like all the facts out. So on Wednesday as well, Matthew Grana's family took to social media to denounce the rumors that they were involved in the couple's disappearance or the passing. Savannah's family had said that Matthew had a history of abusing Savannah early.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Thursday, December 28th, 2023, the Bexar County medical examiner then confirmed Savannah's ID, like said it was Savannah, and that she was the one that was found in the car, and both her and Matthew passed again. Again, it came out about with the gunshots. In Matthew's case, it was contact gunshot wound, so the muzzle of the firearm, was straight against the head. And that's another question that I have when it comes to the affidavit. It just doesn't make sense.
Oh, I have to well, if you've been on Tammy's, you probably already know that I have a bachelor's in Australian law. So I have been too sick to do it, but I had started looking and breaking down the legal the ILAC. Well, I don't know if they use ILAC in America, but the legal way they wrote it. Yeah. I could pass that to you if you want it.
Yeah, most definitely. So SAPD asked for the public's help in identifying two persons of interest seen on the security camera at the Collins Medical Apartments where the bodies were found. In this updated video, two vehicles are seen pulling up side by side in a parking lot. One is a Chevy Silverado pickup. The other is Matthew's Kia. The driver of the pickup gets out and hands something to the driver of the Kia. The two men speak briefly before driving off in different directions. It's unclear whether Savannah and Matthew were at the time in the video was recorded or whether they were alive. It had came out now that they passed away at the time.
Oh, wow.
And McManus says that Matthew is not the man driving the Kia. So I've got the footage. And this is one thing me and Mary were just talking about before we came on. Things already are starting to disappear. And this video of the suspect is one of the things that is going.
Yes.
Disappearing.
It's a bit annoying. Well, actually, when Ozzy and I were looking at, did you watch it when it was streaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did too. I've noticed that what they had initially, the quality on the live stream was much better than what they actually released. And now I can't go back and find the original live stream. Yeah.
And as I said, it was posted everywhere, but now it's really hard to find. So this one's it was the next police conference of when they gave us the car footage.
On this case, I'll go over it again anyway, briefly. Because this is an open investigation, I'm not going to answer questions unless it's to confirm something I've just said, but I'm not going to answer questions that may get into the details of the investigation. So first of all, I want to extend condolences to the families of both Savannah and Matthew. I also want to reassure them that detectives are doing everything that they can do to solve this case. Savannah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guetta were reported missing by Leon Valley on 12/23/23. Clear alert was issued for Savannah by DPS because it met the criteria for a clear alert to be issued. Clear stands for the state's Coordinated Law Enforcement Adult Rescue Alert Program. Families of both victims reached out to SAPD on the 23rd to make a police report, but we had learned that Leon Valley had already taken a missing person report. So then Matthew resided in Leon Valley's jurisdiction, and were last seen in Leon Valley. Therefore, Leon Valley was the reporting jurisdiction. Officers did document details provided by the family members under an SAPD information report. On the 26th, at about 4 o'clock, SAPD was called to assist Leon PD at 5903 Danny K. Leon Valley was requesting assistance. Families of both victims were at the location and reported to Leon Valley PD that earlier in the day, they received information that the missing gray Kia Optima was at the Danny K address.
Is this
When
one
police
thing?
arrived, they discovered 2 people in the Kia.
Yeah.
EMS was called to the scene, and they pronounced both victims at the scene. It appeared that the vehicle had been located at that location for several days. The medical examiner had identified 22-year-old Matthew as one of the deceased victims in the vehicle, and he died from a gunshot wound to the head. The manner of that death is still pending. The second deceased victim has not yet been officially identified by the medical examiner. However, I think we can be confident that that second victim was Savannah. This case is being investigated as a capital murder case. Detectives right now are combing through days of surveillance video from several different locations that the victims were known to be, where the victims were known to be. Detectives are hopeful surveillance video will lead to the events leading up to their death. Detectives are also combing through social media and cell phone records to determine the last communications with the victims. We have a video here that we're going to share with you. We have already put it out on social media. You may have already seen it, but we're going to run this video here today. We are hoping that someone is able to identify the individuals that are seen in this video. If anyone has any information regarding what they may see in this video, go to homicide on 207-7635. You can remain anonymous. You do not have to give your name. Video was taken from a nearby location where the bodies were located. And finally, here is a slowed down image of the first person of interest getting out of the Chevy Silverado that is seen next to the Kia. And then here's another, there'll be another slowed down image of the second person of interest getting out of the victim's Kia Optima.
Wait, is this going
Once we've
to?
looked at the video, I will take a few questions.
Okay.
Is this the one where he's talking about the second person? Is this one going too? I have not seen
Is
this one.
This one was when they gave us the first video of the car. So this was to put out like with that video. So he
Oh,
showed
yeah, I can't
Again,
find this
only to
anymore.
clarify what I've said, if
I
you're
have a
not quite
copy I
sure
can
about
send
it,
you if you want it.
but I will not take questions other than what I've just talked about because the investigation is still active.
Chief, you said that ME said that for Matthew Guerra, it was a gunshot wound to the head, but when we called them, they said it's a contact gunshot wound. What does that mean?
It means that it was there. When we talk about the manner of death has not been determined, the manner meaning, was it a suicide or was it a murder? So that's what the ME has yet to officially put out.
So there's a possibility that this could be a murder-suicide.
That possibility exists, but right now we don't believe so unless we get information from the ME that would change our current course.
You don't believe so, and I wonder the callousness of all this. What is your message to the personal persons who may have committed this?
You know, somebody asked me that the other night, and I don't know what value that adds to this interview, what message I would put out. I mean, clearly, it was a heinous act. It was, you know, unspeakable, the tragedy of it. You know, what message would I give those folks? I mean, I don't see what the value of that question is. But anyway.
And just to clarify, you were treating this as a homicide
The capital murder investigation.
for both victims?
Yes, right now, unless we get information that changes that. Say it again?
Where and when was this relatively taken?
A few days before.
Yeah.
The bodies
And where was this, the rest of this area?
Where what?
Where's this body discovered?
Very close to it, yes.
Close to it.
I do see, I believe he is handing something to the driver of the pickup truck. Do we know anything about that?
I mean, that's what we're looking at. What we believe right now, it was something to weight the side of the car down with. You know, we can't be 100% certain of that, but that's what we're studying in this video, and that's what we believe right now.
And do we believe that these people may have any links of some sort? Do we know what links they have?
I don't know that, and again, would be part of the investigation.
So just to be clear, the vehicle, the Kia Optima, that's the vehicle that they were found in?
Yes,
Okay. But the person that's getting out of the vehicle, you're saying that the Kia Optima, is there somebody that gets out of that vehicle that you're trying
Yes.
to say?
yes,
And you don't believe it to be either Matthew? or-
No.
Okay.
So
Correct.
do you all believe that they were shot, the killings happened somewhere else and then they drove the car and dumped it?
well, you know, again, I don't want to get into the details other than what I've talked about here today. So, the answer to that question would be yes. But other than that, again, I'm not going to answer questions that are outside of what I just talked about.
So in this video, do you think that they're dead or alive?
Pardon?
In this video, do you think they're dead or alive?
Again, I'm not going to get into that.
And then one other question, the day of the crime scene, you called it perplexing. Now you've learned a couple more details. Can you go into why you use that word?
Because it was unknown at the time. I mean, we had been there not very long at all, and it was undetermined at that time whether we were going to be looking at it as a murder-suicide or as a capital murder investigation. So I think we've kind of gotten past that point right now, unless we get evidence that would lead us to believe otherwise, but I think we're past that point right now.
You said the bodies have been there for several days. How many days exactly?
I don't know exactly, but they'd been there for a few days, I'll say.
So what took you so long to find the car if the car was parked there for several days?
What took us so long to find it?
Yes, if the car was parked over there for like several days.
Nobody came across that car.
What?
Thank you.
Nobody came across. What?
Yeah, they're very limited on what kind of information we're giving us.
Very much.
As I said, there are a lot more videos closer up, but this was the one from the original that keeps disappearing.
Yes. Will probably keep disappearing.
Mhm.
Like some of the posts I have green capped no longer exist.
That's the
TikTok.
hardest thing where you got to get in there on that first day and get everything. Now,
Yeah.
when the kid drives off, it only actually goes around the corner and parks. So they're actually already at the apartment complex right now where they left the car. Hi, Mark. How are you? Sorry, I didn't want to say it while the officer was speaking, but how are you? Thank you for coming. Okay, so Friday, December 29th, medical examiner says that the manner of death for both Savannah and Matthew was homicide. The determination ruled out a murder-suicide as possible. Police had initially considered whether that's what they were looking at, but it came out that it wasn't. But, so Wednesday, January 3rd, SAPD announces that they had an arrest of a father and son in the passings. Christopher Badillo, I can't say their last names. 19 was charged with capital murder. His father, Raymond, 53, was charged with abuse of a corpse for allegedly moving and concealing the victims' bodies. Sergeant Washington Moscow, an SAPD spokesman, says that the passings resulted from a drug deal gone wrong. Christopher did the passings, and the officer said that his father had helped him try and hide the car and the victims. And I know everyone was waiting for this to come out.
Yes.
So I've got what they call the perp walk. Hi, beautiful, sweet misery. How are you, my darling? So we'll go through the perp walk and then their conversation about it after it. I know we've all probably seen it, but I just wanted to put it in because I think we stared at this screen for like an hour waiting for this walk to happen.
Oh, yeah, like live. Yeah, it was about, yeah, it would have been close to an hour for that walk, or 48 minutes.
Every officer that came out, everyone was like, is that them? Is that them? This one doesn't take an hour, though.
No, thankfully.
It was, Kaz. It was someone who was walking their dog, alerted to the smell of the car and went to the car, and then the people that were walking their dog rang Savannah's family, and then they went down there. Hi, beautiful Julie. I have sent your prize to you, Julie. It is in the mail. Kaz, you're still going to send me your address so I can get your prize out to you. This is the perp walk. When they got Christopher and Raymond. It doesn't take much. Didn't took this long for them to walk out. Oh, hang on, now I've missed it. I knew as soon as I fast forwarded it would.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It always
And I think when we got the father, it was what we all expected. But when they were at the stand, it was definitely not what I expected because I was waiting for a female.
Me too.
So here they come. The one thing I can't get is the dad said it's fake news. Dude, you've just been
arrested. But he owns a company, so he's probably full of himself.
Air conditioning company, yeah.
Yeah.
Make a hole, guys.
Watch out, guys. Make a hole.
Excuse me, guys. Closing the door. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys.
Está saliendo el segundo.
Oh, this guy.
I don't know. Film this for the camera. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sergeant Washington Moscoso, WASHINGTON MOSCOSO. So the individuals you saw this evening, the first individual's name is Ramon Preciado, 53 years old, SID number 443651. The second individual was Christopher Preciado, 19 years old, SID number 1191061. So the two individuals we just walked out today, again, is a father and son. The first individual is a father, the second individual is a son. They're going to be charged, the son's going to be charged this evening with capital murder, and the father's going to be charged with abuse of a corpse. So we do expect more charges to be pending. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing. We all know what kind of led us to this to where we are today. I will say that when we recover, or when the bodies were discovered on Danny K, obviously the investigation began. SAPD detectives made that location and to collect evidence. One of the key pieces of evidence that we did collect at the scene was Savannah's cell phone, and so that was handed over to our technology team, who was able to download some information on there. With the assistance of the U.S. Secret Service, we were able to get enough information, and so that information was given to our detectives today. With that information, the detectives were able to find a possible location of where the suspect vehicle that was released on that surveillance camera, surveillance video, possible location where that suspect vehicle might be. They made that location, and sure enough, the vehicle was there. They did a little bit of surveillance on the video on the vehicle, and then were able to determine which house it belonged to. They went up, knocked on the door. The first gentleman, the first individual, the father answered the door. He knew why the police were there. Was cooperated fully with the investigation. We're right here to headquarters, and our detectives were able to start interviewing both the son and the father. Again, they were both at the home. They both brought in here, and the interrogations began. Through interrogating the individuals, the detectives had enough, based on what they said, there was enough information there to get a warrant signed by the judge tonight, again, to charge Christopher with capital murder and Ramon with abuse of a corpse. Again, there will be more charges pending. This is what we have right now. I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Did you of the corpse charge from the dad, does that mean that you guys believe the son killed him and then the dad helped hide the body?
Yes, yes. And so I want to touch base on something real quick. Since the release of the video that we put out on the 28th, there has been, internet has blown up with people sending tips and people just sending misinformation. There's a lot of misinformation out there. These two individuals are the only suspects that we were looking for. They were arrested. There were many names being thrown around on the internet. Those people had nothing to do with this. We vetted them and everything. They didn't have anything to do with these murders. So the individual, Christopher, we believe committed the murders of Matthew and Savannah, and then Ramon helped up the. It appears to be a narcotic-related deal that went bad.
Do we know the connection between this father and son and Matthew and Savannah, or the connection to the apartment complex?
So there's no apparent connection to the apartment complex. It's just a place where they have to go dispose or hide the vehicle, the body in it, and it appears that it was a drug deal. So there was like a drug connection to the suspect and the two victims.
When you say abuse of the corpse, can you talk about that a little bit? Was there any mutilation, or is that?
It's just when you hiding the body, moving the body after discovering that and all that kind of stuff. Yep.
When he killed him, what exactly?
So December 21st, which is a Thursday, just before midnight, is when the actual murders took place. On that.
There has, yes, Sweet Misery, there has been more at it. Basically still just the same thing. I know for the son, Jimmy, he's obviously up for, at the moment, 2 capital murder charges. And he's also being charged now with the abuse of a corpse. And the father had another one too now, but I can't remember offhand what the other charge was, but
I think it was assisting.
Yes. I just can't remember the wording of what they could be in the affidavit when we read it, but this officer was talking straight after the perp walk. But there is, I think it was within 24 hours they put more.
And are they going to be charged for the baby? Because in the state of Texas, technically they could be charged for a third.
Right. So like I said, there's going to be possible charges pending, more charges pending. Our detectives are going to talk with the county DA to determine if there are going to be any charges they're going to be facing any charges related to the unborn baby.
And do we know if she was sedated at all?
I didn't have information from the medical examiners. I know that she was scheduled to be induced, and she didn't make her appointment, which is why the family went to the police to file the missing persons report.
Did he say where exactly they killed him?
I don't have the exact location. We just know that they were killed at a different location and then taken to the apartment complex to dispose of the vehicle and the body. I know there was some Spanish questions I wanted to knock out real quick.
Sí, podría darnos un resumen pequeño para la audiencia hispana de estas personas que presentó.
No, 11 preguntas.
Nada más una pregunta. Si tienes preguntas a particular.
¿A quiénes presentaron esta noche?
Sí, esta noche el primer señor que salió es Ramón Preciado, de 53 años, y el segundo es Christopher Preciado, de 19 años. Christopher Preciado es el que hizo los asesinatos de las víctimas, y su papá Ramón ayudó en esconder o tratar de esconder el carro y las víctimas.
Las dos personas las que aparecían en el video de vigilancia
Sí.
que presentaron la semana pasada.
Sí.
¿Había un motivo para matarlos?
Parece que había una transacción de drogas que no fue, que fue mal, la transacción de drogas fue mal y resultó en la muerte de las dos víctimas.
When you say drug deals, you mean were they buying or selling? Do you know what?
Well, I mean, someone was buying and someone was selling. It was a drug.
Can Ramon be charged with these murders through the accomplice theory or the multiple parties theory?
I'm sorry, could who?
Ramon's dad, could he be charged with the murders as well through an accomplice theory?
No, he was not there during the commission of the murder. He was there kind of, I guess he was called afterwards to help dispose or help his son. I'm sorry?
These two have previous records?
Christopher has no previous criminal history, and Ramon did have a small, he had some prior criminal history.
So are you all done looking for suspects?
Yeah, we don't have any other suspects that we're looking for.
And then that surveillance video, were they alive during that surveillance
No.
video? They were not alive?
They were not alive, no.
Okay.
Last question, guys. Christopher killed them, they moved their bodies to the car?
Correct. Well, I mean, I don't know if you moved them into the vehicle, that the vehicle with the bodies in was driven to that apartment complex. It didn't happen at that apartment complex.
So ultimately, who's going to make the decision on the final charges? Is that going to be the DA's office?
Correct, yes. So our detective, again, tonight are charging them with Christopher with capital murder and Ramon with abuse of a corpse. They are working on some other charges that they're going to file. But regarding, I think specifically the question that you had about the unborn baby, they're going to have a conversation with the DA to determine whether they can charge or put the baby as another victim on this.
So does SAPD have any say whenever they talk to the DA's office?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a collaboration with our DA's office.
Would you say SAPD is going to seek that they're charged for the unborn baby case?
Our detectives are going to do everything they can to bring justice to the family.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming out.
I was just looking for the other charges. Yeah, I can't see it. But as I said, I know there was more because it was. I just can't
Was
find
it
them right
aiding
now.
and abetting?
Yeah, it was something like that. I just can't find the actual wording of what they said. So Thursday, January 4th, new details about the case are revealed in the affidavit of probable cause filled out by SAPD to obtain the arrest warrants for the two of them. Matthew's family told investigators that he sold drugs and often posted pictures on social media showing the drugs and cash. The affiliate says, adding it was stated that Matthew had been shot at before. So this is another conference, like another police one that they brought out. Might be in here about the second charge.
I don't know if this is going to affect your sound or not, but I'm going to cover up some of these mics here. What's up, Dylan? Thanks for showing up. Obviously, come on up here, guys. I've asked District Attorney Joe Gonzalez to be here today and make a few comments at the end of this briefing, and we'll make this short and sweet. I have most of the information I have here. I think you've already been privy to. I do have a little bit of new information. The information I'm going to give you, answer questions to clarify, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about anything else, simply because this is an open investigation and we still have work to do. So again, my condolences to the families of Savannah and Matthew. By now everybody's aware of the incidents, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time rehashing facts that are already known, but I will go over them high level. On 12/26/23, our officers discovered 2 deceased individuals in a Kia Optima, and our homicide detectives at that point began their investigation right on that scene. Detectives learned that both victims involved in the sale of narcotics and used their cell phones to conduct much of their business. Detectives collected the victims' phones, and with the help of the United States Secret Service, who were able to extract information that led to the development of a possible location suspect vehicle that was seen on the surveillance video that occurred on Wednesday, 1/3/24. Detectives drove to that location and saw the suspect vehicle. They approached the home where the suspect vehicle was, and they knocked on the door. An individual by the name of Ramon Preciado answered the door, seemed to know why SAPD was there, and cooperated with the investigation. Both Ramon and Christopher were home and brought to the SAPD homicide office for questioning. During the interviews, both suspects made enough statements to implicate them in the murder. Detectives walked warrants for their arrests. Christopher was arrested on the charge of capital murder. Ramon was arrested on the charge of abuse of a corpse. Yesterday, 1/4, more charges were filed. Christopher was also charged with abuse of a corpse, altering, destroying, or concealing evidence of a human corpse. Ramon was also charged with altering, destroying, concealing evidence human corpse. Detectives also conducted a search warrant at the home of the suspects where evidence was recovered. There is still an active investigation, and I'm not going to go into too much of the details, as I've previously said, because I don't want to jeopardize the integrity of the case or make the DA's job any harder once he gets involved in it. The final piece of information I have for you is that the gun believed to be the murder weapon has been recently recovered from the suspect's home, and we'll share that with you. And Joe, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank Chief McManus for inviting me to be a part of this press conference. Before I begin, I also want to extend my condolences to the Soto and Guerra families as they are in the midst of mourning. They are in the midst of grieving for the loss of their loved ones. So I think it would be appropriate for us to give them the respect that is due them during this period. But I do want to say that as I mentioned before, arrests were made. I was confident because I knew the kind of work that happens over here. I know the kind of dedication that the San Antonio Police Department has. They would identify suspects and make arrests, and that's exactly what happened. So I want to commend Chief McManus. I want to commend the entire defense staff, and I especially want to call out the lead homicide detective for doing an outstanding job. I'm sure as typical, he may have had others assist him, but I know that his team was working around the clock, and it made a difference because we always want to formulate a suspect as soon as possible. We always want to identify someone who is a perpetrator of a crime as soon as possible, and that happened here. So again, my gratitude to the entire department and specifically to the detectives that were involved in this case. As I have said recently, our job is just beginning, but we have to give SAPD time to complete their investigation. What they do when they, and the term is walking a warrant, when they present an affidavit for an arrest warrant, they only need to present probable cause to a magistrate judge, but that's only the beginning. They have the responsibility to complete the investigation, and I know that they will do that. They will do an outstanding job as they've done so far. So let's give them the time to do what they need to do. We have 90 days to indict these cases, and so I am sure that they're going to get a prosecution guide, which is the term that we use for a complete file. I'm sure that they will get it to us in the appropriate time and before that 90-day timeline. So again, I want to commend everyone involved in the San Antonio Police Department for doing an outstanding job in identifying suspects and making arrests. Let's let the detectives complete their job. Let's let them file the cases in our office, and then we'll make the charging decisions, and we'll go from there. And again, I can't overestimate this. In order to bring justice to the memory of these two victims, and in order to bring justice to the survivors and the family members, it's going to be a long road. but we have to take things one step at a time. So let's do that. Let's let SAPD do their job, and then we'll need some time to review the facts and make those charging decisions. And once the case is indicted, then we'll go to the next step. And I'm sure I will have questions about this on, let me get this out there right now. There have been questions about whether or not this will be something that we will seek the death penalty on. It's too early to tell. I don't know whether or not this is something that we will make that decision. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. As in every other case where we have a defendant who is death penalty eligible, we have a capital crimes committee that will meet, that will make, we will hear a presentation from the lead prosecutor in the court case up, and then we will discuss the facts, go into making a decision to seek the death penalty. But again, it is too early to tell. We don't want to put the cart before the horse. Let's wait till we get an entire case filed in our office. And once that happens, I anticipate that we will have indictments returned, but we have to wait and let a grand jury make that decision. But after that, then we will take it to the next level and make whatever decisions that we need to. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my darling. You didn't have to do that.
I'll take a few questions. I will just say that we believe it's the gun that was used in the murder. As far as the testing and the ballistic results go, I'm not sure what they have yet.
Can you clear something up on the surveillance video? We've had a lot of people reach out. It appears as if someone tosses now to Ramon Preciado before he wipes down the door on the sedan. Is that how it played out? What can you tell us about that small part of the sedan?
Yeah, that's something we're still looking into. It's something that's been brought up in conversation about this, so we're still looking into that.
That could potentially be a third suspect or someone that was there while the bodies were dropped off.
As the investigation continues, it could be. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it is possible.
If someone was there, if there was a second person in that truck, could they be charged with the same altering of corpse or, essentially moving the bodies?
They could be, but I mean, that's something that would be determined once the level of that person's involvement is understood, if that is the case at all. I'm going to leave that question unanswered. Okay, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. So the additional charges that were filed were for Ramon. Chris was arrested on a capital murder charge. Ramon was arrested on a charge of abuse of a corpse. Yesterday, Christopher was also charged with abuse of a corpse, and he and Ramon were charged with altering, destroying, or concealing evidence.
As far as the capital murder charges, 1, 2, or 3, do you know how many charges that Christopher faced? It involves all. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and any further questions you have, you might want to just refer to the affidavit, arrest affidavit. Okay.
Claro que sí. Pues estamos aquí para hablar con respecto del caso que se trata de las víctimas, la señora Soto y el señor Guerra, Savannah Soto y Matthew Guerra. Quiero decir que agradezco mucho a los miembros de la policía, del departamento de SAPD por el trabajo que han hecho, porque quiero identificar sospechosos en este caso rápido, y es una cosa muy positiva para nosotros. Y hay un requisito que ellos tienen que presentarnos el expediente, ¿verdad? Los hechos del caso, para que nosotros podamos revisar esos detalles y luego hacer la decisión cómo vamos a cargar estas personas formalmente con lo que se dice un indictment. Vamos a tener que esperar hasta que presenten todo. Más o menos tiene que se tiene que llevar de cabo antes de 90 días. Y después de ese tiempo vamos a presentar los hechos del caso ante un gran jurado y podemos obtener el indictment o sea la acusación formal. Entonces vamos a hacer decisiones de ahí adelante, incluyendo la decisión si vamos a pedir la pena de muerte, pero vamos a tener que seguir con mucho cuidado, ¿verdad? Y vamos a empezar con ese paso y luego vamos a hacer las decisiones.
I understand, Kaz. I do need to learn Spanish because I got a lot of this one.
Sure. Clearly, we have enough to charge Christopher with Preciado with capital murder because we have 2 adult victims. But under Texas law, when an unborn child, and it's under whatever period of gestation, is that unborn child is considered a person under Texas law for purposes of including an unborn child as an additional count for capital murder. We have every intention, of course, Chief McManus, actually, the sergeant made a comment that they intend to file 3 charges, listing 3 victims. We have every intention of including the unborn child as an additional count for capital murder. But again, we'll have to wait and see when the case is filed. But that's correct. We can charge some of the discount. While you're asking the question, let me clarify because it's already been asked. Why the father, Ramon Preciado, was not charged with capital murder. Someone can be charged with murder if that person is directly responsible because that person either intentionally or knowingly caused the death of the individual, or that person can be charged with as a party to the murder. But under Texas, the only way that someone can be charged as a party is that that person has to aid, assist, encourage, or abet the commission of the offense. As far as we know, there is no evidence to indicate that the father was involved in the murder. Now that makes this case develop. The detective is going to continue his investigation. If there's at some point some evidence that the father was involved in the murder, then that can change. But I know there is a common conception that when someone is an accessory, in fact, we can charge him, but he has to be more than an accessory. In fact, under Texas law, we have to be able to prove that he was a party to the offense. So again, for now, the only one that's being charged with capital murder is Christopher Preciado.
So Friday, January 5th, 2024, police announced that they found the murder weapon. In that one there. Chief William McManus says the officers discovered the gun while conducting a court-sanctioned search at the home of where Christopher and Raymond lived. Buxton County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez says that the elder vidIQ, so Raymond, the dad, was not charged with capital murder because detectives could not find any evidence that he was present when Savannah and Matthew passed, and that they couldn't find evidence that he knew beforehand what happened. That can change if the investigation turns up new evidence. And I think that was the end. No. So after they were arrested, police said that Savannah and Matthew were passed over a drug deal gone wrong. On Friday, McManus says that both Savannah and Matthew were involved in the sale of narcotics and used their cell phones to conduct much of their business. And it's too early to say whether the DA's office will seek the death penalty in this case. I think they're going to, but...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he will.
So this is just a little bit from the mum after, like it was only, I think it was yesterday. So it was after it, this, just to show where her family is.
Mommy, in his mother's belly, he didn't come out to this world. And we'll never see him out here in this world again. We're going to see him for the first and the last time next week. And that's going to be one of the hardest things we're going to have to deal with. By my family and my son, we'll never be the same again. We've lost so much. And now this.
So that's the end of my little presentation. That brings us up to today, and we've got the affidavit arrest. I am going to share. I found this interesting, and it's just a little map, but it shows how close Chris and Roman lived from where the body, like the car, was dumped. So the top one, like the house, is where the car was found, and where the little red pin is was where Chris and Roman, or Raymond, whatever his name is, like the dad and son, live. So as you can see, it was only a 4-minute drive. I might do another one where we go over the arrest warrant if you're free tomorrow.
Okay.
But what I wanted to point out, I know a lot of us have heard it, but me and MacJay will come on and we'll read through the affidavit tomorrow. But obviously we all know the case now. Just something that I think about. Obviously in the affidavit we're going to go through the facts of what we've just heard. But coming down to the timing. So 11:50, Savannah's phone pinged at the house where Chris and Raymond lived. The vehicle started moving at 11:54 and met up with the truck at 11:59. So when you think it's only a 4-minute drive, do you know what I mean? From when the Savannah's car got there at like 11:50 p.m. By 11:54, the car was already moving again. So when we get into the affidavit, do you know what I mean? Christopher says that he removed the gun. So basically he's saying that Matthew was pointing the gun at him. He removed the gun from Matthew and Savannah got shot with the gun. And then he done the same thing again and Matthew got shot. Now, this is my question. And if anyone can come up with the answer, I would love to know. But how, like, is he like a magician? How do you know what I mean, move a gun that, if someone's pointing a gun at you twice, and now we're looking at a 4-minute period before that car started moving again. So, do you mean it just doesn't add up what Christopher's saying in his story of how they happened, and then the fact that within 4 minutes of when the car pulled up, the car moving again. And then 11:59 is when the first surveillance was taken, where we seen the two cars passing each, like pausing, and the gun, like the wiping and everything. And then 12:03 is when the car was dumped. So when you start putting times to it, as I said, if anyone has answers, they can definitely, I'm open to all answers on that, but that's just something that I can't get around in my head. I mean, 4 minutes to take 2 lives or 3 lives. It's just,
especially like with how Chris is, well, very baby-faced compared to Matthew. And I don't see how he was going to take Matthew and Savannah, like in 4 minutes.
And the one thing they haven't told us, like they have told us that they found the gun at the house, but they haven't told us whether it's Matthew's or whether it belonged to Christopher or Raymond. So we don't know that either.
No.
So tomorrow we might do it. Well, I'll talk to you anyway, and we'll work out a time to do it. We'll go over the affidavit. And then we can kind of have a chat about anything else. But I hope everyone comes back and joins us for it. I'm sorry about today. I am going to take this live down for probably about half an hour. I've just got to take something out of it, and then I promise it will come back up.
Yep.
And just keep an eye out for when we set it up, and it'll be sometime tomorrow. I've got my cleaner here in the morning, so probably in the afternoon. But I'll talk to you offline, MacJay, and we'll work it out what time we'll come back on and do the affidavit. And if there's anything else we want to chuck in, but I think we've sort of done the storyline as much as we can now.
Yeah. Unless there's more overnight breaking news.
Well, as I said, I still think there's more charges to come down. Do you know what I mean? They're still deciding whether to charge for the baby, but as they said in Texas law, they can. So, but yeah. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Kaz, thank you so much for the super chat. And other than that, I will see you all tomorrow. And thank you, MacJay, for coming and helping me.
Not a problem.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
There's too much that's going on, I don't know what to do. Paralyzed by options in this world, can't pick and choose. Yeah, everybody's life is on display, including you. Yeah, I feel every day is just the same, stuck in a loop. I need some variety, I'm sick of this anxiety. I'm sick of this society, they make us feel a rivalry. Compare ourselves to others, but we all got different mothers. We were raised in different structures, so we're different, it's no wonder, yeah. I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time. Something I look back and say that was a great time. Cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the wayside. I'm just lost inside, and I need a little time to find